Outback Truckers. Jared Baldwin and Johnny Rayner's epic mission grinds to a halt.
You just can't get any traction. It's hard to even walk up.
As they climb their way out of disaster.
Bloody, what am I, mountain goat?
On a world-famous rally, Rosco battles the elements. His truck.
Come on, get in the gear.
And his temper. And Turbo cops a visit from the boys in blue.
You must go to court.
And heads into the red.
Oh, goddamn bloody blood.
As he fights to keep his business on track.
Turbo's back and I'm gunning for the lot of yous.
On a barren dirt track, deep in one of Australia's wildest frontiers, construction truckers Jared Baldwin and Johnny Rayner are fighting an uphill battle.
I got stuck. We'll just try and reverse back a little bit to get up a bit further.
If they can't get up a sharp incline, their trucks and reputations will bite the dust.
No, I think that'll do us.
For 4 back-breaking days, the 27-year-olds have been in trucking hell, hauling 160 tonnes of building materials to an Indigenous community, located in one of the hardest-to-reach parts of Australia.
Oh, hang on. We just hit something there.
The boys' journey began in the town of Catering in the Northern Territory. Their destination, the isolated settlement of Maparu, deep in the unforgiving wilderness of Arnhem Land.
You just all work together because you are in the middle of nowhere.
Their heavyweight loads needed to build a basketball court. They've completed the first of 2 runs on the 60-kilometre gauntlet, but on the way back to camp, they've run out of luck and traction on a steep hill. There's one glimmer of hope. A 10-tonne digger or backhoe they've brought here to do construction work.
We'll have to get tied up by the backhoe.
It's a risky operation. If a tow chain breaks, or if the backhoe hasn't got enough grunt, Johnny will be stuck 700 kilometres from home with no way out.
Should work.
With the chain secure, the backhoe takes the 25-tonne weight of Johnny's truck.
Just back off a little bit, save wheel spinning too much.
On the chewed-up dirt, it's a fight for every metre. The backhoe has saved the day. The first run is done.
That's good, bloody another hard day done, so we can get ready for tomorrow. Do the exact same thing. Should be fun.
Next morning, Jared needs to prep the trucks to haul the last 80 tonnes of building materials.
They're different fittings.
But there's a problem.
It's going to really a day.
The hydraulic hose that connects Jared's tipper trailer to his truck is the wrong size. Without it, Jared can't unload.
That's just in, but it's not going to wind up.
They're in luck. Johnny's hose will fit Jared's trailer. The boys need to switch trailers. But to do that, they'll also have to change the connecting pin on Jared's trailer.
If we don't get this going, there's no way we can tip that trailer off.
The fix will chew up precious hours of daylight. But with 25 tonnes of concrete sitting in Johnny's trailer, time is the least of the boys' worries.
If someone's changing the pin, if it drops, it's going to crush whoever's underneath it.
Tearing through the guts of the Western Australian outback, the Australasian Safari is one of the toughest motor races in the world. This 3,400-kilometre endurance rally can bring the best and bravest drivers to their knees.
It's an 8-day long-distance off-road motorsport event, the biggest event of its kind in the Asia-Pacific region.
But they aren't the only ones who face a gruelling daily battle. Critical to the race is food.
It's fairly important for me to be there because when the crews get in at night, they're going to be tired and hungry and ready to go to bed. And if we haven't got hot food, you're going to have a few grumpy crews.
52-year-old Rosco Haining has the vital job of driving the event's massive catering truck.
The catering thing I've never done before. You got to remember, I'm only a truck driver. I don't know the menu.
His 44-ton rig is fully loaded with a kitchen, tents and enough supplies to prepare over 8,000 meals. While the rally vehicles go for glory, Rosco must run his own daily race through the Outback to get from stage to stage and set up the catering equipment before the safari arrives.
Within 2 hours, we have to pack all this up and unpack the whole thing again to be ready for when they come in tonight for dinner.
So what do you want me to do? Go forward more?
Go forward.
Quickly?
Under the watchful eye of catering boss Andrew, it's a monumental challenge, every bit as tough as the main event.
Well, these guys burn heaps of carbs each day and it's pretty tough out there on the track, so we do our best to look after them.
Beginning in Perth, Rosco's 8-day marathon will see him follow the race from the town of Geraldton to the finish line in Kalbarri, Western Australia. It's a 2,000-kilometre haul through some of the most arduous terrain in Australia. Rosco's been driving trucks for 30 years, but he's never faced a challenge like this.
I'm a little bit nervous because there's a lot of dirt road driving, which I've done a little bit, but I wouldn't say I'm fully experienced with it.
And to make the job even tougher, he's been given an automatic truck he's never driven before.
The time frame's very critical and she's a bit slow on the hills. Stay there, you stay there!
I've known Rosco for years. He can be a little bit hot-headed, but we've learned to cope with that.
If Rosco can't deliver, hundreds of race crew and drivers will go hungry.
We're always last on the road, but we're always the first to feed them.
No food, and there'll be no world-famous rally. It's day one on the dirt for Rosco.
The way I'm thinking is, what the hell am I doing here?
But at least he's confident about one thing.
They say it's supposed to rain. I'm pretty good on my weather. I don't reckon it will.
Rosco's skills as a weatherman may need work,
The rain.
but it's his driving ability that counts. The next stage is 300 kilometres into the Outback. First, Rosco needs to refuel his truck. But in the downpour, he's missed the turn-off for the fuel station.
Come on, get in the gear.
And to cap it all, the unfamiliar truck's refusing to go into gear. Rosco's only travelled a few hundred metres.
Don't need this, I don't need
It's
it.
a disastrous start
Come on.
to one of the biggest tests of his career.
This truck.
On a lonely outback highway, 200 kilometres from the small town of Bowen, long-haul trucker Turbo's got trouble.
I gotta check that.
The 47-year-old's midway through his first run in a new truck. Hitting a 50-kilo kangaroo is drama he doesn't need.
Kangaroo went to dart off to the other side of the road at the last second. Changed his mind, straight back in and just copped him.
If his rig's taken damage, Turbo could face a repair bill he can't afford.
I'm starting to think he's taken out a brake booster.
The trouble couldn't come at a worse time. Since his previous truck died, Turbo's been fighting to stay in business.
I've had no money come in for 3 months. So that's 12 weeks of basically living on the poverty line.
With his livelihood at stake, he's dug deep into the red to buy a $90,000 prime mover.
What's riding on this is my family, my house, my name, everything.
He's en route to pick up a container of freight that's 12 weeks overdue.
It's a decent coin, this one. This is why it's going to be the start to kick it off again. I'm back on the horse. Now I've got to ride the horse.
Turbo began his journey 3 days ago in Sydney. His destination, the small town of Normanton on the Gulf of Carpentaria. It's a grueling haul through 3,000 kilometres of baking bitumen and rough remote country. But 200 kilometres from the nearest town, his run of bad luck looks set to continue.
Look, I love kangaroos, but bloody kangaroos. Now my biggest concern is, what other damage have I done? I'm actually hoping that I haven't chewed up any tyres, because I know that there was a load of smoke coming out of them. Because I tried to avoid him, the tyres have grabbed. I'm just lucky I've got no weight on it. It hasn't actually made the tyre flat from where it's locked up. Brakes are all good.
There's no major damage. But Turbo's not got off scot-free.
Bent all that, knocked all the grill out, ripped the chunk out of my step. That's all supposed to be attached, and there's a big piece missing out of it now. Not happy, but it happens.
The repair bill won't be cheap, but on these roads, wildlife is a constant threat.
Hitting kangaroos are part of life in Australia. I've just got to sort of learn to take a teaspoonful of cement and harden up.
As dusk falls, Turbo needs to stay sharp. This is the most dangerous time on Outback roads.
This time of night, I'm starting to have a few little concerns that we're going to have a few more mishaps before the end of the night.
After 3 months of hell, this run was supposed to get Turbo back on his feet. If he hits another animal, it could be a knockout blow. In Arnhem Land, Jared Baldwin and Johnny Rayner need to swap trailers before they can take on a vicious 60-kilometre bush trail.
So that involves taking the kingpin off the bottom, changing it to a 50mm one.
But there's a potentially deadly catch. To remove the all-important kingpin, Johnny and Jared will have to risk their lives by working underneath the 25-tonne trailer.
The dangers that we got is that trailer's loaded and we have to get under there.
Johnny inches forward to expose the kingpin. If the trailer's legs collapse now, the job's all over, losing the boys thousands of dollars and their reputations.
Thankfully, everything held up and we're good to go.
Next, the dangerous part, unscrewing the vital kingpin beneath the precariously balanced trailer.
You all right?
Yeah.
For Jared, at least there's plenty of support from Johnny.
Giving Jared a go. Seems he's done nothing all morning.
Oh, you dirty, my f***ing spanner.
Finally,
Take cover!
the operation's a success, but it's cost precious hours. Ahead is the 60-kilometre bush trail to Maparu. It's barely passable by daylight. But if the boys can't get back on schedule, they'll face it in the pitch black.
Won't go into gear now.
Rosco Haining is stuck outside a garage in Geraldton with a 44-tonne catering truck that won't go into gear.
Come on. Come on, get into gear.
The checkpoint on a world-famous rally is 400 kilometres away. Rosco has just 5 hours to reach it before the race arrives. If he's late, the multi-million-dollar event will grind to a halt.
I'll go the wrong way. Come on. Thank God.
Finally, Rosco can refuel and get underway. But with hundreds of kilometres of dirt ahead, his troubles are just getting started.
We're going off the bitumen now to the dirt road. It actually pulls your truck around a fair bit. If you overreact, you could probably get yourself into serious trouble. When you get it,
After just a few Ks, Roscoe spotted a problem in his mirror.
It's that table.
On such a tight schedule, pulling up is the last thing he needs.
Wind's blowing it got in there, pushed it, turned it.
With the rally vehicles just hours away from the finish line, any delays could be critical.
You've got to go. It's going to rain, I think. Again.
But in the distance, there's a far bigger problem. A high wind's whipping up a huge dust storm, and Rosco's heading right for it.
It's just hyping the sensors up a little bit and become eagle-eyed.
In North Queensland, after hitting a kangaroo, Turbo's on the lookout for more trouble. While a 50-kilo adult could damage Turbo's truck, for other drivers, it could be deadly.
The problem with hitting the roo is you can actually shoot that kangaroo across into that other vehicle and cause that other vehicle to have fatal car accident.
As night falls, the roads are littered with roos.
Oh, they're slowing down.
It's a nervous time. But finally,
Bastard. Thank God I'm here now.
Turbo's safe. By morning, he's arrived at his pickup, a container owned by a very patient customer.
3 months the container's been sitting in the paddock here. Val's got all her personal effects in it, who's the customer. She's waited 3 months for me to get here. So that's loyalty. So now I've got to bust me backside and get it through to her. This is the most important thing, the one that's going to kick me off again.
The 8-ton load will have to be craned onto Turbo's truck. It's a delicate operation.
Can we boom down?
And there's a problem. The container's badly balanced.
Yeah, but it's all down one end.
Loading won't be easy.
I'll watch ya.
If it's not done right, it could smash into Turbo's $40,000 hired trailer, damaging its precious contents. It's 130 kilos of trucker versus 8 tons of freight.
Just gotta watch the crane, because at the moment we're both running blind here.
One slip and his load could be reduced to ruins. On the remote trail to Marparu, Johnny and Jared are racing to drop off 50 tons of concrete and make it back to camp before dark. But the punishing dirt track's fighting them tooth and nail.
I've just clipped a little branch and smashed my mirror. So it's definitely not ideal, seeing as I've got to tip this trailer off.
While they need to keep their speed up, the constant assault means sometimes it's go slow or don't go at all. After a white-knuckle ride through the bush, at last they've made it to the drop-off.
So we're just rocking up now. With the last loads, I'm going to go in and tip them off.
In a few days, this mound of dirt will be used to build a basketball court for one of Australia's most isolated communities. For Jared, it's what the hardship is all about.
It's the 4th day now. It's our last 2 trailers. It's a bit of a relief.
But Jared and Johnny will have to go all out one more time if they're to make it off the trail before night. There's just 60 kilometres between them and the highway. But if they get stuck now, there's no back home, no help, and no hope. But it's too late. Night's falling fast.
Just hitting the bit of a mess Johnny made yesterday with all the wheel ruts. But we'll see if we can't cut a new track just so we don't get caught in them.
The trail's all but destroyed. Jared can't get traction.
Nah, just in the ruts.
There's no way out.
We had torrential rain plus swirly wind.
On his vital mission to feed a world-famous rally, Rosco Haining is racing straight towards a huge dust storm.
10 to go.
If it hits, he'll have to back off his pace, risking not only his deadline, but hundreds of hungry, angry crew.
We're on the descent now into Murchison. We've got 10 k's to go.
As he nears the checkpoint, there's just minutes to his deadline. He's close, but so is the rally. Rosco's over the finish line. Just as the storm hits. Now the catering team will have to work fast if they're to be ready in time for the rally. With minutes to spare, the team have made it. And all the drivers and crew can get stuck into some hard-earned tucking.
I never thought I would, but I was mentally and physically just wrecked. I've never been so in my life.
The following day, and there's no let-up for Rosco.
Guess what? We got a flat tyre. I'm going to run it. I haven't got time to change it. I think I'll change it tonight.
The next checkpoint is 300 kilometres away. Rosco has 4 hours to make it. The tyre will have to wait. But just a few kilometres later, there's more trouble.
I've got a local and level problem.
The heat and dust are choking Rosco's engine. If he can't reach the checkpoint soon, his load won't be the only thing cooked.
I've backed off, let it cool off. I'm just going to have to mosey in.
Finally, Rosco limps into the checkpoint. While the catering team get to work, there's no time to rest. He needs to change the blown tyre. But Rosco's truck isn't the only thing running hot.
Don't me around, you bitch.
A 60-kilo wheel is jammed onto its axle.
It's going.
If Rosco can't free it, his truck will be crippled, putting his whole mission at risk. It's a question of what gives first, Rosco's tyre or his temper.
Just gotta watch the crane that he doesn't slip in any holes or anything.
Turbo's still trying to wrestle a badly balanced container onto his truck.
Got all the weight down one end on this container. The weight's about 8 tonne.
If it's not done right, the lopsided load could smash into his $40,000 hired trailer and destroy its contents.
I've got to hold this container so it don't swing around on him. I can't see trailer or nothing.
On a job that's already 3 months overdue,
Getting out of my way.
running up a hefty damage bill would be disastrous.
Go up just a touch. Righto. Can you come back this way just a touch? Hang on, mate. All right, go down. Down. Container's on, so that's good. Good to get out of Dodge.
At last, Turbo can hit the road for the 980-kilometre trip to Normanton. But his good mood doesn't last long.
I hate this friggin' coast road with a passion.
A dawdling driver's pushing Turbo's rageometer into the red.
We're in a 100k zone and we're doing 80 kilometres an hour. And it's all over the friggin' road, that car too.
With his load already late, Turbo doesn't want to waste another minute. A clear road and it's time to make his move. But suddenly, the erratic driver hits the gas.
Now it's speeding up to stay beside me.
Turbo's stranded on the wrong side of the road. To get past, he'll have to floor his truck. Just in time, he's clear. But minutes later, the same car races by and halves its speed.
Drives like an idiot and then overtakes me and a few other friggin' people.
After all his troubles, Turbo now has to deal with a dueling driver.
Just got caught in one of the wheel ruts, so I'm going to just try it in a gear above, just a little bit quicker.
Jared's giving it one more try at crawling up what's left of the road on a brutally steep hill.
So I've just gone right over to one edge and I seem to be creeping up. But it's not really going to work for me, I don't think. Playing in the dirt, digging holes, that's all I'm doing. I'll just run out and chuck the stiff bar on and just get Johnny to push me up.
With no backhoe to help pull Jared, it's down to Johnny to push from behind.
I'm fairly big now, so it's starting to get to me a little bit, but I've got a bit of a headache in that.
With the stiff bar in place,
Right, mate, I'm on you, so just take us back.
the boys are ready to roll. It's 1,100 horsepower versus a whole heap of ugly dirt.
Ready?
Go. So we're just trying to feather the accelerator a bit, because if we just give it too much, we're just going to have too much force on the rock and it'll just spit them out. Pull up.
The struggle's torn what's left of the track to pieces. But Jared's refusing to quit.
We're going to unhook the body truck and take it up the hill and run a chain back, see if we can't pull it up from when we're up on the top with a bit more traction.
The boys have been at it for hours. They'll have to disconnect a trailer to lighten Jared's truck.
Righto! Whoa! Righto, give it a go. Spider tech, mate. Righto, mate, just ease on.
But even with the truck 13 tonnes lighter, there's just no road left for Jared's tyres to grip. They have one move left. Reconnect the trucks, reverse downhill, and try again.
You just take me back and I'll tell you. So I know I'm on a good bit.
Fail, and it's game over.
We're going back now, mate.
But as Jared reverses back, disaster strikes. The stiff bar has jackknifed, locking both trucks together. They're stuck fast.
What's that, mate?
The trailer has pointed right. That's about a metre away from the front of my truck now.
After 4 days of hell, they're staring defeat full in the face. At a remote rally checkpoint, Rosco's still wrestling with 60 kilos of stuck wheel and his temper.
Hey!
If he can't fix the problem, his truck and the rally will be crippled.
They jam. When they jam, they won't move. And they're heavy.
After a Herculean struggle, the battle's won. Rosco can finally change the blown tyre. And with boss Andrew arriving, it's just in time. But there's no time to rest. Tomorrow, Rosco faces a 500-kilometre sprint, his longest run of the rally. With just 7 hours to cover it, he's under massive pressure.
If we don't do it, it just puts pressure on the whole crew. And makes it all hard.
Come on, get up, mate.
Time's tight, but ahead, Rosco has another headache.
We've just turned onto a B-grade road, really. It's a lot narrower than the main highway, so you've got to be alert. You're going to end up in the dirt. Once it gets in the dirt, the back trailer will start going like that.
In a 37-metre long rig, hitting soft dirt on the roadside could be deadly. Suddenly, Rosco's about to be tested.
You ready? Because I could get rough here.
A massive oversized load is coming his way.
I don't know if we're going to get over far enough, Blake, because there's a fair bit of a lean over here.
The road's too narrow for both rigs. Rosco has no option but to pull over into the dirt. Lose control now, and he could lose everything. While the pass is a huge relief,
Everyone's to sneak up on you.
delays have chewed up more time Rosco can't spare. To make the checkpoint, he'll have to bury the gas pedal and race the rally drivers.
Some of the competitors are starting to get a bit weary. I think they're taking its toll. So we might win this yet.
It's a photo finish. But Rosco's a winner.
We're just turning into the overnight stop area on time, 3 o'clock, actually 4 minutes early.
But while he's made it in time, his truck's paid the price.
You had a bit of a water problem. Just going to check it or can't muck around.
His engine's leaking coolant. Without it, the truck will fry.
Oh, yeah.
If the damage is serious, Rosco's race will be run.
I just hate this road.
A daredevil driver's playing a dangerous game with Turbo. After racing past him, he suddenly dropped to half the speed limit, risking both their lives.
I swear to God, he's going to play games. Want to play games, mate? I'll play games there. Idiots, eh? They wonder why they have accidents.
With the driver and 3 days of bitumen finally behind him, the next 400 kilometres is on dirt roads.
Woo-hoo! My country, my road, it's all mine now. Good old Outback Australia.
The Turbo's love of the open road doesn't last long. With the dirt come millions of bruising corrugations, giving Turbo's truck a hammering.
The conditions of the road have actually gotten a lot rougher. It's actually shaken apart the back of the trailer, so I had to pull up and fix it.
Any damage to his hired trailer could sink Turbo even further into debt.
Oh, easy fix.
Fortunately, it's just a loose tail light.
Fixed, Outback style.
As the dirt turns back to bitumen, Turbo's almost on the home straight. For the first time in 3 months, things are looking up. But suddenly, he's got company.
Local boys just pulled us up.
A police stop means another delay on a job that's 3 months overdue. But any problems now, and time will be the least of Turbo's troubles.
Oh, I just had a crack on the header tank. You lose pressure and all the water comes out.
At the penultimate stop on the Australasian safari, Rosco must repair a coolant leak,
That one?
or his truck will go no further.
Just actually put some stuff over it to hold it to get us down to Kalbarri today.
It's vital the patch-up job holds. Today's the rally's final stage. For Rosco and boss Andrew, It's the biggest day of the race.
There's twice as many people coming tonight as we've been catering for all the way through, so I'll be really happy if the truck makes it through the day.
Have a good one.
As the vehicles head out, the finish line is 400 kilometres away. Rosco must pray his engine holds up and there's no more unwelcome surprises.
But now I'm starting to come up to a bit of tourist traffic and 80k can stay in here for a few while. The road's narrow, it's wet, it makes it hard to get around.
Conditions are treacherous, but the race is relying on Rosco. He must get the job done.
Fast, let me fast, back off. Come on, baby. Move. I'm telling you, I'm getting on the move.
While the traffic's behind him, the torrential rain's causing yet more worries. If it's reached the final checkpoint, Rosco's unload site could be saturated.
We're not going to be undercover. I'm not sure if it's actually grass or dirt.
As he arrives, his worst fears are confirmed. In a 44-ton truck, he could get bogged. Just metres short of the end of his marathon journey.
That last bit was a hard bit.
Finally, it's the checkered flag for Rosco and the racers.
Of the 2014 Australasian Safari.
Hey, I made it.
After 2,000 kilometres of hard country, hard times and hard tempers, Rosco's faced up to the biggest challenge of his career and run the race of his life.
I've surprised myself. I dug in deep, achieved something I didn't think I'd achieve. It's like I've actually been competing with them.
Thanks, Rosco.
Thank you, Andrew.
Awesome.
You brought a lot out of me, I tell you.
300 kilometres from the end of a long overdue delivery, Turbo's been hauled in by the police.
There's infringement notices if you exceed your period of drive time. If you go over by more than 1.5 hours, you must go to court.
Officers want to check that Turbo's been taking his required rest breaks. If he hasn't, he could be taking a long one, without his truck and facing a large fine.
In all honesty, sometimes I don't read that stuff because there's been some things said, oh, you can do this and do this, and then you read on and it goes, oh, but you can't do this. But hang on, it said it did here.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5, 9.5, 10, 11, 12. You can't be in excess of that 12.
I know there was one I did go over, but, or is it that one there?
It's 11.5. You're doing it right. Obviously, otherwise we'd be having a chat, so that's all good.
After 3,000 kilometres of hard grind, finally he can meet his client in Normanton.
How you doing, Bear?
And not a moment too soon.
All right, so we're dropping off in here.
My oath, the missus is going to be happy tonight. Yeah, she was expecting this to be here after all this time. She's trying for a long time. It's all good.
After 3 months of hell, Turbo's pulled his business back from the brink and battled bureaucracy and harsh highways to deliver a make-or-break load. But after all his struggles, he's ready to take on the big boys once again.
All the trucking companies up here are going to have to start watching their backs again because I'm going to be back to give them a run for their money. And I'm staying for good.
Let's go and have a beer.
Hell yeah. Sounds good to me. Where we going?
Yeah, I'm pretty over it now, buddy. I got a headache.
Johnny and Jared are in desperate trouble. A metal stiff bar has locked sideways. Both trucks are stuck fast.
Because we can't get any traction, the stiff bar on Johnny has just gone off to the side when my trailer's coming back down, which isn't ideal.
If they can unhook Jared's truck, there's a chance they can haul the jammed trailer and Johnny out of danger with chains.
Yep.
So I just want to see how far I can get up, and then we'll extend out all the chains we've got with the airlines. And I've just got stuck again. But just this jump up so chewed up. So that's not a good sign.
It's time to face facts. Alone, there's no way out of here.
You just can't get any traction. You look at it, it's hard to even walk up.
The boys will need to send out an SOS.
There's a construction crew working. See if we can't borrow their grader off them and come and pull everything out through at once.
Their hopes rest on getting a phone signal in the middle of nowhere.
There's a little spot on this hill where you can get one bar, so we'll just try it. Oh, I got one.
What's calling?
Johnny's through.
Who are you calling?
To his girlfriend.
Hey, bud.
So we're just bogged and Johnny's just making the call home, which is of uber importance right now.
Thankfully, Jared's able to reach the crew.
Hey Rob, how are you, mate? Just want to ring and just ask permission if we can just use your grader to pull us out.
Mate, the grader's down at bloody Killmouth Well at the moment. Nothing, mate. I've got nothing at all.
On that Central Arnhem Road job.
Oh, where are you?
I'm at Peru, the jump up in Arnhem Land.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, mate, go down and see the boys at the camp at Doinsy Creek.
No worries, we'll work it out, Rob. Cheers, eh?
Righto, mate.
That's pretty lucky.
At dawn, there's a very welcome sight and sound.
Oh yeah, that's just music to my ears, eh? Whitey's just rocked up with a grader. Hopefully he'll just hook up and pull us out.
This will be a cart.
Yeah, Rogie. Thanks for coming to get us.
No drama at all, eh?
With massive wheels and massive pulling power, the 30-ton grader is the boys' last shot at dragging themselves off this hell of a hill.
How much weight?
If they can't escape now, they never will.
Day 5, just got the last truck up the pinch, and yeah, it's just, that's a really good moment. Just a massive weight off the shoulders, massive weight.
Over 5 of the toughest days of their careers, this new generation of Outback Truckers have done it the hard way. They've hauled hundreds of tons through the stuff of a trucker's nightmare. They've risked their names, their rigs and their lives to battle one of the toughest roads in Australia.
Ripper job, mate.
No worries, fellas.
Cheers.
Could happen to us someday.
That's it. Hopefully I'm not in the area.
Right.
It's good to have someone next to you that you can bloody rely on. Cheers, mate.
Sun goes back, bud. It's not so bad.